Welcome back to Asia Prime. In 2020, Indonesian horticultural exports reached $645.48 million, an increase of 37.75% compared to 2019. Now, this increase in exports was dominated by fruit commodities during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Now, while fruit exports alone were recorded at $389.9 million, an increase of 30.31% compared to 2019, with 5 main destination countries, namely China, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. In terms of fruit production from 2000 up until 2020, the average growth of Indonesian fruit production per year increased by an average of 6.06%. However, ironically, this increase in production is not followed by an increase in Indonesia's people's consumption of fruit. Now, the average consumption of Indonesian people for fruits in 2020 is 88.56 grams per capita per day, a decrease of 1.4% compared to 2019. The consumption rate is only 59.04% of the minimal nutritional adequacy limits of the World Health Organization, which recommends a fruit consumption of 150 grams per capita per day. Well, it's quite sad to see the data earlier. Indonesia is known for many types of tropical fruits, but its fruit consumption rate is very low. And to talk more about fruit consumption in Indonesia, we often don't care that there are some fruits which, if we consume them a lot, can increase our blood sugar. Now, is this true? To find the answer, joining us on Asia Prime tonight, Dr. Tan Shot Yan, a medical doctor, PhD in community nutrition, to talk about the myths and facts about fruit. Dr. Tan, thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime, my pleasure.
All right, so as we were saying earlier, when we eat fruit, we still have to pay attention to the sugar content. But how do we get people to keep eating fruit properly without feeling burdened, the hassle of thinking about sugar content of fruit? Or is that a problem at all?
Yeah, talking about fruit is always considered as beneficial. It's always considered as one of the superfood. And as you know that fruit is rich in fructose, and fructose is just like glucose. It is a simple carbohydrate. However, fructose is structurally different from glucose. So the body reacts to them differently and metabolizes them differently. So fructose has also different chemical properties, and fructose is metabolized by the liver. So the liver may get overloaded with it after excess consumption. So please highlight the word excess. So after excess consumption of high fructose food, the liver then converts fructose into fat, which increases the deposits in the body. So, fruit is very healthy, however, but if we are not wise enough and we know exactly how to consume the fruit, well, we will be in deep trouble. That's it.
Right, so you're saying there is such a thing as eating too much fruit. Eating too much fruit is not good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, talking about too much, well, Indonesian is still low in fruit consumption, as you can see by the statistic. Just now we can see that. But however, whenever you take one bowl or one small cup of fruit, of cut fruit every day, every meal, and 3 times in a day, during a day, so it is more than enough, I think. But the problem is most Indonesians rarely eat fruit during the day. So usually they separate fruit from their daily meals. For example, usually most Indonesians, especially living in the urban, they tend to have this kind of fruit when they kick off during their breakfast. For instance, like some of my friends are trying to eat fruit just before their breakfast. Well, that's not a good way of eating fruit, especially when you transform the form of really cut fruit into smoothies, into juices. So I don't think it is wise. The reason is when, fruit contains lots of not only fructose, but also fiber. So the fiber actually becomes the rod, we call it the fiber, the rod, that metabolize and also the balance of our blood glucose. So whenever you break it down, for instance, you make some smoothies and also juices. So that means that you break down the fibers in such a way that fructose is floating up in your liquid. We call it smoothies or juice. So when you're drinking juice and smoothies, especially when you add things up with your smoothies, milk and and many other stuff. So that means actually you don't eat the fruit, but you drink it. So that's why your blood glucose starting to soaring up.
Right.
That's
So Dr. Tan, just clear this up for our viewers at home. Which is better, to drink fruit as juices or smoothies?
Well, I'm not in a. I cannot say both are okay.
Okay.
So in many studies, especially in high class research, so we always encourage people to eat the cut fruits as a whole. You cut it and then you just eat it the way it is, instead of instead of mixing them or instead of juicing them.
All right, so
that's not the correct way of consuming fruits, right?
Right, so the best way is to eat it, not fruit it or juice it.
As a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Dr. Tan, I also want to ask you, because right now we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic still.
Yeah.
But fruits, of course, is good for us. And in your opinion, what kind of fruits is the best to eat during this COVID-19 pandemic? First of all, to prevent us from contracting COVID-19?
Well, any fruit is just good. So that's why God make it into seasons. Yeah. So the problem with human is that not only in season that you can eat most of the fruit. For example, when I was a kid, I know exactly the season of durian, right? So durian is always available throughout the year. So this is very confusing. So that's why God actually makes season. Season means that nature provides us exactly the fruit that we need during a certain season. For example, like now, it's rainy season. It's going to be rainy season very soon, and it's still going on. So that means fruit which is rich in not only fructose, but also rich in flesh. For example, like mangoes in season right now. And then you can see guava also in season right now. So that means those are the fruits which is suitable for us to eat at this season. But during the drought season, very dry and very hot season during July and August, for example. So that is the season when you can find that watermelon and any kind of juicy and watery fruit are in season.
Right.
So actually, we can say that nature is very wise.
Right, Dr. Tan. But how about for those who have already contracted COVID-19? I was reading that vitamin C is, of course, the best. So in your opinion, what kind of fruit is the best for those who are currently dealing with COVID-19 already?
Well, yeah, there is no such thing as the best, for example, because any kind of fruit is just good as its own way. So, for example, talking about fructose now, we are talking about fruit high in fructose, that is very high loaded in sugar content. So you can say that, for instance, dried fruits, it is very trendy now. Some people are selling dried fruit. Now, dried fruit is very high in sugar. So instead of having like raisins and dates in one cup that contains like 55 gram of fructose, you might want to take some really fresh fruit. So the top-loaded fructose in our tropical fruits are mangoes. They are very rich. Mangoes are very rich in fructose. So just be careful, especially when you're diabetic, you're already overweight. So you need to watch out when you eat mangoes. And second thing is bananas. So that's why some athletes, some gym freak people tend to eat bananas prior to their exercise. So bananas and mangoes, they are very rich in not only carbohydrate, but also in fructose. And moderate fructose comes in different way. Like for instance, when you eat mangosteen, pineapple, and then some apples, and some our local like duku. I don't know the term in English. What is duku? So duku actually is very low in fructose, and it's also in season. The Pontianak duku is very nice.
Okay, Dr. Tan, we're running out of time, but I have one question for you. So as we discussed earlier, fruit consumption in Indonesia is quite low. However, I want to ask, if people do not eat that much fruit in their diet on a weekly basis or daily basis, are they really missing out, or can they just eat veggies without fruits at all and they will be fine? Or what is your opinion?
Yeah, as you know that we have our plate, which is called isi piringku, and in Western we call it's my healthy plate or my plate. So you can see, you can watch that half of your plate consists of vegetable and fruits, which is one of them cannot replace one another. So fruit is fruit and vegetable is vegetable because the advantage and the objective of eating fruit and vegetable are totally different.
Okay.
So you can see that although we don't eat fruit as much as our vegetable, but fruit is very beneficial because of its minerals, which is lack in vegetable. Fruit is very rich in vitamin A and C, for example, which is we can hardly find in some vegetable very rich in vitamin A and C, and also polyphenols. So you can say that fruit, it cannot be replaced by anything else, including vegetable. That's it.
Okay, Dr. Tan. So fruits are very important, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. Well,
Yes,
Dr. Tan,
of
thank
course.
you so much for joining us on Asia Prime and giving us your insights
And
on
I
nutrition.
apologize and keep the doctors away.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Tan. And we'll have more stories for you after the break. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to Asia Prime.